Good day everyone, this is Marjhon Maravilla from BEd 2A. Today I will discuss the qualitative evaluation and how can we evaluate the performance of our future students. So for better understanding about qualitative evaluation, please stay this video. And the assessment of learning or behavioral of the students, there arise a number of occasions where we desperately need the information or data in the form of qualitative description. When we say qualitative evaluation, involve a situation where we want to give the learners feedback and a qualitative descriptive form about their performance and some activities, the strength and weakness related to their creation and product or the behavioral performance demonstrated by them and is a result of some behavioral improvement or modification, progress or etc. And these are the qualitative assessment tools. First, observation. Next, introspection, projection, interview, reading skills, checklist, use of sociometry, use of performance-based activities, use of seminar, symposium, panel discussion, and etc. And lastly, use of cumulative record and anecdotal record, etc. What is observation? So when we say observation, it refers to a process of observing a thing, person, phenomenon, or event with no use of one's sensory organs for knowing something related to its nature and ways behaving occurrence. By observing, we can make use of our senses. And there are the styles and ways of making observations. We have formal observation and formal observation, structured observation, unstructured observation, participant observation, and non-participant observation. Formal observation, it is a type or a style of observation and it is carried out in a quite a formal way by observing the necessary formalities like providing the information to the individual or individuals about the natures and a purpose of observation, the date, timing, and place of observation, also the names and introduction of the observers. For example, if we announce to the classrooms that we are going to have an inspection of their rooms regarding their habit of cleanliness in a particular date and time. Such type of formally announced observation will surely fail in its objective of knowing about the habit of cleanliness among the classrooms. For the informal observation, it is carried out in a quite informal, spontaneous, and natural way, and there is no prior information about the nature, purpose, timings, and place of the observation and is given to the individual or individuals. Structured observation. As the name suggests, the observation process carried out in this type of observation is quite structured, fixed, and predetermined irrespective of the fact, and that is organized in a formal or non-formal way. And the unstructured observation. So the observation process adopted in such observation is totally unstructured. No condition or restriction are imposed on the observing in carrying out observation for the collection of information or data. Participant observation. This type of observation requires on the part of the evaluator to play the role of a participant observer while observing a thing, event, or phenomenon in a particular observing situation. Last, non-participant observation. This type of observation tries to do away the above cited defect or limitation of the participant observation, and the observer observe the behavior of the individuals in such a way that they may not have any idea about the observation of their behavior and way by one or the other observer. utilizing observation tool for assessing behavioral outcomes. As you can observe, we have two phases, which are the planning and preparation for observation and execution of the observation task. The following questions are the guide for making a plan and preparation for observation, and it is serve as a guide to make a proper planning and also preparation. After making a plan and preparation, it is a time to execute the observant task. Next is the introspection. Introspection, one is required to get inside one's own mind. It is a sort of self-observation in which one perceives, analyzes, and reports one's own feelings, and in fact, everything that takes place in one's mind during the course of a mental act. For example, when in the state of anxiety, fear, or anger, one may be asked to discover by one's own observation what he or she senses, thought, or felt at the time of experiencing that sort of emotion. In these techniques, relatively indefinite and unstructured stimuli are given to students and asked to structure this the way they like. And doing these techniques, the students unconsciously projects their own desires, hope, fears, repressed wishes, etc., and does not only reveals their inner or private world, but gives a proper clue to estimate their total personality. The next is the interview. Interviews provide entry to a specific course of learning and selection, as well as the promotion and services. And we have the types of interviews: personal interview and group interview. For the formats of the interview, we have structured and standardized, unstructured, and non-standardized. For the personal interview, di ba pag sinasabing personal interview, hindi naman bago to sa atin, kasi pag personal, it is happened directly in a face-to-face situation with a respondent. Group interview. For the group interview, it is a group of people, of course, and the respondents work as a group, listening to each other's comments and answering the questions put up by the interviewer. Structured and standardized. In this type of format, the interview is structured as well as standardized well in advance before putting it to use with the individuals for getting the information from the individuals as per requirement of the survey study. Unstructured and non-standardized interview. In this type of interview, the interviewer does neither possess the pre-prepared set numbers of questions with him for getting the individual's response, nor he has a set of prior decision about the evaluation of the responses in terms of the objectives of the study. Reading skills. Reading skill has a reputation of being a quite popular tool for data collection and the assessment. These are the types of reading skills: numerical reading skills, graphical reading skills, standard reading skills, reading by cumulative points, and forced choice reading skill. Numerical reading skills using of numbers, and graphical reading skills using of graphs such as bar graph and pictograph. Standard reading skills. Rating by cumulative points. It is a system for calculating a student's grade in a class that counts each new assessment at its assigned weight in a cumulative fashion throughout the year. And lastly, forced choice reading skill. It is a reading system that does not allow for an undecided, neutral, doesn't know, or no opinion response. So, in other words, allow us to collect more accountable or actionable data.
Use of sociometry. It is a method that can help us obtain more specific and objective data about the relationships that exist in the classroom. Use of performance-based activities. Performance-based is when students participate in performing tasks or activities that are meaningful and engaging. Use of seminar, symposium, panel discussion, etc. It provides to the listeners to take decision about the problem, and also it is used for the higher classes to specific themes and problem. And last, use of cumulative record and anecdotal record, etc. Cumulative record card is that which contain the result of the current assessment and judgments held from time to time during the course of study of a student. And anecdotal are systematically kept notes of specific observation of individual student behaviors, skills, and attitudes in the classroom.
Thank you for listening. Hope you have learned something from this lesson.